Alchemy was an ancient art and, honestly, a very early form of science. It was practiced by many people in many different parts of the world. These practitioners, called alchemists, were very curious individuals. They wanted to understand the world around them in a deep and meaningful way. They believed that all matter was connected and could be changed. This idea was really central to everything they did in their workshops. They mixed things, heated them, and watched what happened. Their goals were often grand and seemed like magic to many people. They worked hard, following old recipes and making their own new discoveries along the way. The main idea behind alchemy was transformation. Alchemists thought that one substance could be turned into another, more perfect substance. They saw this process happening in nature all the time. For example, they saw how a small seed could grow into a large tree. They saw how rocks could be heated to produce shiny metals. This led them to believe that, with the right knowledge and tools, they could speed up nature's work. They believed they could perfect materials in their laboratories. This belief in perfection was not just about metals. It was also about the human spirit and achieving a higher state of being. Alchemists had two very famous goals that drove their work. The first goal was to turn common, cheap metals like lead into precious metals like gold. This process was called chrysopoeia. They believed gold was the most perfect metal because it did not rust or tarnish. They thought if they could make gold, they would understand the secrets of perfection itself. This wasn't just about getting rich. For many alchemists, creating gold was proof that they understood the fundamental laws of the universe. It was a sign of their mastery over the material world. Their second great goal was to create something called the elixir of life. This was imagined as a magical potion or substance that could cure any illness. It was also believed that it could grant a person a very long life, or even immortality. This quest was deeply connected to their desire to understand health and the human body. The alchemists believed that just as metals could be perfected, the human body could also be purified and made perfect. Finding this elixir was seen as the ultimate achievement. It represented the power to overcome decay and death, a dream as old as humanity itself. Alchemy was not just a European practice, it flourished all over the ancient world. In ancient Egypt, the origins of alchemy are deeply rooted. The Egyptians were masters of working with metals, making dyes, and creating glass. They were also experts at mummification, a process of preserving the body. These practical skills were mixed with their religious beliefs about life, death, and transformation. The city of Alexandria in Egypt became a major center for alchemical knowledge. Here, Greek philosophy mixed with Egyptian practical arts. This combination created a powerful foundation for the future of alchemy for centuries to come. In ancient China, alchemy developed with its own unique goals and traditions. Chinese alchemists were less focused on making gold from lead. Instead, their primary goal was to find the secret to immortality. They worked to create an elixir that would grant eternal life. They experimented with many minerals and plants, especially substances like cinnabar, which is a mercury ore. They believed that by consuming these carefully prepared substances, a person could achieve a perfect state of health and live forever. Their work led to many important discoveries, including, by accident, the invention of gunpowder, a very different kind of powerful substance. In the Islamic world, during its golden age, alchemists made incredible progress. Scholars translated the old texts from Greek and Egyptian sources into Arabic. They saved this ancient knowledge and added many new ideas of their own. Great thinkers like Jabir ibn Hayyan, known in Europe as Geber, were central figures. He introduced a systematic and experimental approach to alchemy. He carefully described how to perform processes like distillation, crystallization, and evaporation. He insisted on the importance of experimentation, a key step that moved alchemy closer to becoming a true science. His methods helped organize the alchemists' work. When this knowledge reached Europe during the Middle Ages, it created a huge wave of excitement. European scholars translated the Arabic texts into Latin. This brought the ideas of alchemy to a new audience of monks, scholars, and artisans. They set up their own laboratories and began their own experiments. They were fascinated by the idea of the philosopher's stone, a substance that could turn metals to gold and create the elixir of life. European alchemy combined the practical goals of making gold with deeper Christian spiritual ideas about purification and redemption. This created a rich and complex tradition that lasted for hundreds of years. The most famous quest in all of alchemy was the search for the philosopher's stone. This was not an ordinary stone you could find on the ground. It was a legendary substance that alchemists believed held immense power. They thought it was the key to achieving their greatest goals. The stone was said to have the ability to perform transmutation. This meant it could turn a large amount of a base metal, like lead, into pure gold with just a tiny speck of the stone. This was considered the final step in what they called the great work, or the magnum opus. The quest was long and difficult, requiring patience and great skill. The philosopher's stone was believed to do more than just make gold. It was also thought to be the main ingredient for the elixir of life. An alchemist who possessed the stone could supposedly use it to create a potion that would heal all diseases. This potion would restore youth and grant the drinker a very long life. For this reason, the stone was the most sought-after object in the world of alchemy. It represented the ultimate power over both matter and life itself. Finding or creating it was the lifelong dream of countless alchemists. They wrote secret books and used complex symbols to describe its properties and how to make it. Many famous figures throughout history were known as alchemists. One of the most legendary was Nicolas Flamel, who lived in Paris in the 14th century. Stories say that he discovered the secret of the philosopher's stone. It was said that he and his wife Perronelle successfully turned mercury into gold. They also were believed to have achieved immortality through the elixir of life. While these stories are likely just myths, Flamel became a powerful symbol of the successful alchemist. He represented the idea that the great work was possible. His legend inspired many others to take up the quest for themselves. Another important figure was Paracelsus, a Swiss alchemist and physician from the 16th century. He had a very different and more practical view of alchemy. Paracelsus believed that the main purpose of alchemy was not to make gold. He thought its true purpose was to make medicines to cure the sick. He argued that the body was a chemical system. He said that sickness was a result of chemical imbalances. He used his alchemical knowledge to create new mineral-based medicines. This new direction, which he called iatrochemistry, connected alchemy directly to medicine and helped lay the foundation for modern pharmacology. Though alchemists never turned lead into gold, their tireless work was not a failure. In their quest, they had to invent and perfect many laboratory tools and techniques. They developed furnaces for high-temperature heating. They designed special glass containers like flasks, beakers, and retorts for mixing and boiling liquids. They pioneered important processes that scientists still use today. These include distillation, which is used to purify liquids like water or make alcohol. They also mastered techniques like sublimation, fermentation, and crystallization. These practical skills formed the essential toolbox for the future science of chemistry. The alchemists' constant experimentation led to the discovery of many new substances. While trying to break down and combine materials, they identified and isolated elements and compounds that were unknown before. For example, the German alchemist Hennig Brand discovered the element phosphorus in 1669. He was trying to make gold from urine, but instead he found a white, waxy substance that glowed in the dark. Alchemists also learned how to prepare strong acids, such as sulfuric acid and nitric acid. These powerful chemicals became very important for analyzing and changing other materials, and they are still fundamental to the chemical industry today. The shift from alchemy to chemistry was a gradual change in thinking. Earlier, alchemists mixed their practical work with magic, astrology, and religion. Over time, thinkers like Robert Boyle began to question these mystical ideas. In his book, The Skeptical Chemist, published in 1661, Boyle argued for a more scientific approach. He said that experiments should be done carefully and that results should be published clearly for others to check. He helped define what an element was in a modern way. This focus on clear evidence and repeatable experiments was a major turning point that helped establish chemistry as a true modern science. Even today, some of the old ideas from alchemy remain important. The alchemical dream of transmutation, changing one element into another, is now a reality. Modern nuclear physicists can change elements in particle accelerators, though not lead into gold in a practical way. The alchemist's search for new medicines continues in the work of today's pharmaceutical chemists. More than that, alchemy reminds us of the power of curiosity and imagination. It shows how a magical quest to understand the world can lead to real scientific knowledge. It was the beautiful, mysterious, and sometimes strange parent of the logical science of chemistry we know today.